So I was thinking lately about the videos I made and, you know, what else I think I might be able to express that might help other people. And I was thinking about that I had three major mental health milestones in my life. And the first one was beyond a doubt life changing. That is the reason that I am able to be where I am today. So I thought I might tell that story. Now, for me, it was definitely a come to Jesus moment. There was a realization, there was a lot of religion based for me, but this is not a story of that. It doesn't matter what race, religion, culture, none of that. This story is actually more about when you give in, surrender. Whatever it is you're surrendering to, the universe, the goddesses, whatever it is. So here we go. Anyway, I had suffered depression and anxiety for quite some time. There were days I would just lay in bed and not want to move. And I got this opportunity to leave the job I was at, which was Popular Ford, and go work at the 92nd Street Y, because my kind of like uncle at the time was a big wig there. And he thought I was ready and could handle it. And actually, I owe a really, really big debt to him, because that's exactly what I needed. And it gave me purpose. And not that the job was my awakening, but it put me on a good path. So anyway, with that being said, I had this one pinstripe suit. Oh, so horrible. I think I had bought it at Rainbow. And I'm pretty sure I bought the boots at Rainbow too. They looked like Frankenstein boots. I mean, just imagine. The platform on them was black. There was no heel. And it literally, I'm pretty sure the pants were also too short, if I remember correctly. You saw the bottom, like the ankle of my boot. Fashion sense was never my thing. But I put that on and I thought, I own the world. So anyway, I was very hesitant. I didn't want to take money from my mom or anyone for transportation, so I had counted out like exactly what I had to get me to and from work for the duration of my first paycheck there. And now we're talking, I want to say it had to be, I'm trying to figure out, but I think it was 2000. I think it was April 10, 2000, because Grandpa had passed away that March. And I was newly with Josh as of like that February. Yeah, I think so, if the timeline is right. But it was a long time ago. Anyway, so I had counted out exactly what I would need to get back and forth for the week. And I had myself with my black little bag. Again, cheap crap that I bought. I think there was a rip in it. But anyway, and I also had allotted on the first day, I'll never forget, that I could get myself a corn muffin and a hot chocolate. I'm not a coffee drinker. And I sat at the counter at this little diner up the block from the actual job. And I was so proud of myself, and I drank that, and I had my corn muffin, and I was living the city life thinking who I was. But anyway, I had everything calculated out, when I tell you to the penny, to the penny. So, a week or so goes by. We're almost to the second week. I'm kind of running out of money. I think I was using change at that time, I guess. Yeah, to get on and off the transportation and whatever I was doing, because I definitely did not have a Metro card. So I know at that point, what happened was I had to go to the hospital one day after work. I had to go because my cousin's mother had delivered a stillborn baby, and she was, the mother was in a coma in the hospital. And I said, well, I have to go visit her. So what I'll do is I will take the train past my normal stop and get to the hospital. And then I should have exactly enough to get myself back home. So I went to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, somewhere in the train station, I dropped at least 2 quarters, maybe a dime. I know it fell out of my pocket. It went down. I couldn't find it. So that was problem number one, because I was really down to the pennies. Anyway, I went, I visited. What I also had done is I had actually passed the stop and had to get off and then get back on. Because again, I wasn't really used to traveling on the train and stuff like that. So this was all very, very new to me. So I also had to get back and get back on, which now had depleted more of my money. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. So I lived Avenue M, and the hospital was Coney Island Hospital, like down by Avenue Z. So anyway, I get to the hospital, I visit, whatever. Now, my cousin's there, you know, and I don't want to burden them. They have enough going on, so I don't tell them that I don't have money to get home. But basically, at this point, I don't have enough to get home. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, Z to M, really, but it's late. I'm tired. This was very draining to go visit because it was sad. I'm already depressed at the drop of a hat, so... And then I'm like feeling so like I can't even get myself to and from anywhere. I'm getting lost. I'm losing the change. You know, everything in my mind when I'm in that state just like snowballs. So it's never going to be okay. I'm never going to have enough money. You know, all this. So I tell him I'm fine. I have a way home. Don't even worry. Not true. I walk out into the lobby, and all I feel in my whole chest is pain. I don't have a way to get home. I'm not stranded, mind you, but I don't have a way to get home. So I call a very dear friend of mine, my best friend actually, but I don't tell her like I'm in crisis and I'm having a situation, because again, I don't want to do that. So I call, and she says she's straightening her hair to go somewhere or do something. But she'll come if I need her to. And of course, I'm like, no, I'm fine. Because when you're in this state, sometimes you tend to like draw back to the point where like you just kind of want to be alone. You don't want to say anything. Not be alone, but you feel like a bird. Like you pull back. You're not sharing. You want someone to rescue you, but you don't want to have to tell them to rescue you. Like the words can't come out that I need you. It's like someone just has to know, which is impossible. How is someone going to know? You want people around you to be like, have ESP, when that's not how the real world works. You have to say what you need. So, anyway, I hang up the phone with her. Now I'm devastated because, you know, I have no one in my life. As of this moment, there's no one to rely on. There's no one to call. This is so far from the truth. Could not be further. But, you know, I have absolutely no one. I think Josh at the time was at his other job. You know, we weren't together all that long at that point, but still, I probably could have called him, but I don't even know. You just start to believe you're alone in this world. No one's there to help you. It's you on your own. So I start walking, and I think the problem with it being from Avenue Z to M is not really that it's a long walk, but I'm in these uncomfortable, terrible boots, again, that I bought from Rainbow for like God knows how cheap. My feet are killing me. Like, you know, when you go to a wedding and your feet are hurting so bad that, like, you can't even stand up for the pictures. That's where we're at. I know I don't have enough money to get to work tomorrow because I've lost my change and I went past my stop, and I have, you know, and God forbid I ask anybody for fare because I'm in this zone in my head, you know. So I start walking down Ocean Parkway because the hospital's right there on it's Coney Island Hospital's on Ocean Parkway. So I start walking, and I'm sobbing, and I'm a mess, and it starts to pour. You know, one of those crazy pours, like a monsoon that came out of nowhere? It starts to pour. Now I'm drenched. My hair is drenched. The makeup that I freshly put on for this new job, which I never wear makeup, is coming down my face. The hole in the pocketbook, like everything's jingling around. The boots are killing me. My feet are killing me. I can barely even move. And I can't really move, not even just because the physical pain, but my mental pain is so bad that I can't move my body. I can't move. At this point, there's park benches all along Ocean Parkway, and I know I want to just get home, but like I'm dragging myself on the park bench. I'm holding myself up along the way, and it's just pouring, and I'm crying, and I'm stumbling. I mean, if you could imagine picturing a movie scene, that's what it must have looked like, where, I'm like in the worst desperation you could possibly ever imagine. And a lot of this was just in my head because I probably could have found someone to come get me. But anyway, at some point, I decided I have to take my boots off. Now, again, raining, pouring. I'm in these knee highs that my mother gave me, goddamn knee highs. So my feet are soaked, but I cannot walk another moment in these shoes. Like, I can't. So now I'm trudging through the rain with the hole in the pocketbook, the heavy boots in my hand. They're clunking. I'm crying. There's really nobody on the street, but cars that are passing are staring at me. I mean, what these people on the street must have thought. Like some homeless vagabond. I don't know. They're kind of driving by and trying to figure out what's going on. Again, there's no actual physical people like walking around. It's pouring. And anyone who was walking with an umbrella is probably like sheltering somewhere. It's literally pouring, one of the bad ones. And I'm making eye contact with people in the car, and they're making eye contact with me. And as they're slowly passing by, trying to figure out what's going on, I mean, they see me stumbling. I almost fell on a bench. I'm like sitting in the rain. I'm crying. I mean, they probably thought I was like, they probably didn't want to help you because they probably thought I was some kind of delusional, like, escape psychopath, homeless person, or just like an emotionally disturbed person. I don't know what they thought, but I don't think anybody wanted to get near me. But anyway, I kept walking and walking. Let me tell you, it took me a long time to get home. I want to say it was like 45 minutes to an hour, probably. But this is what happened. Somewhere in this walk, with my crying and my self-doubt and my pity and my nothing's ever going to get better, you're alone in this world, it doesn't matter, I prayed. Now, I pray a lot. But I might have prayed the hardest prayer I've ever prayed in my entire life. I mean, this was like a gut-wrenching, because again, the scenario is not as bad as in my head. I mean, I'm in my neighborhood. There are people I could call, but in my head, I am like stranded somewhere on some island, and there's no one who can possibly touch or get to me. Because in my head, that's where I live. That's where depression put me, So now with these circumstances, it's just like elevated. So I remember like falling to my knees almost on the bench, and I'm crying, screaming, basically at this point. And I'm like holding my head. I put my pocketbook down. It's full of water now because it wasn't a zip up. It had like a button on top. I am beside myself. And I pray like I have never, ever prayed in my life. And again, this is not about God and whatever. I pray and say, please, give me the strength. Whatever you believe in, whatever powers from beyond, give me the strength. I never can be here again. I have to beat the demons that are living in my head. I need to overcome this. I cannot be here again. Let me tell you, the next morning when I woke up, it was literally like the gods had shown on me. Listen, nothing was perfect. It still isn't. I have my ups and downs. Everybody knows that. But I think I surrendered. Sometimes you have to get to your very bottom. And even when you think you're at the bottom, you may not be at the bottom. Because when you're really at the bottom is when you're going to come up. So the next time that you feel like you're at the bottom and you can't go any lower, dig. Dig. Go deeper. You're going to find yourself down there. I digged. I was at my breaking. I said, either don't let me wake up tomorrow or let me wake up refreshed. I'm ready. Whatever it's going to take, I am ready. And again, no miracle wand was waved. Not everything went away, but I gave in. And yeah, I still had my bouts. I had months at a time or weeks at a time. But I decided that day that I was just going to let go. And yeah, let go, let God, right? Whatever it might be, I surrendered. I said, I own it. I feel it. I have a sickness. I have this disability. I'm not going to hide from it anymore. I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm going to voice my pain. I'm going to tell people what I need. I'm not going to let my head win. My heart is going to win. So I don't know. You know what? Maybe that's the answer. It's not about God or this, that, the other thing. Let your heart win. Your head is lying. Let your heart win.